Hello and welcome to another episode of Solo Inter podcast. With me, as always, is Manish. And what a week it has been! Like what a past few days! Like total chaos. Like European Super League has been like officially announced. Manish, like what do you make of it? Like what do you make of this circus? Was it required right now, or what do you like? What is your opinion about this thing?
Yes, Gautam. I think the whole world got over the shock of Super League, and the announcement also came like at a very strange hour, middle of the night, I believe. So next morning when I woke up, I just saw the news. It was like a lot of mixed emotions, and it took a lot of time to understand what exactly is happening. Like you said correctly, circus going on. So yeah, but I still think like everyone right now, it's against it. A lot of legends have spoken against it. Fans have spoken against it, and I think the whole world generally is against it, saying it's killing football, it's doing a lot of damage. But you know what? I actually want to take the other side of the coin. I know it's a lot of criticism received for the Super League, but if you check Gotham, just to sum it up a few lines, what I understood is the bigger brands, bigger clubs in general have lost a lot of money during COVID. If you just take Inter, for example, Inter is under a huge loss, I think around 700, 800 million loss. And we haven't paid salaries for God knows how long, so many months. And we have been crossing deadlines after deadlines, not paying salaries. And generally, like if you check Barcelona, they are around 1 billion in debt. And Real Madrid is around 400, 500 million loss. So this COVID pandemic is making it worse. And football in general, like nobody expected there'd be a scenario where no fans can enter the stadiums and stuff. But when this thing came, uh, the richer clubs obviously are suffering a lot because of the salaries and because of a lot of other commitments. The smaller clubs like Atlanta and other, they are self-sufficient. They're doing really well. So for them, not much difference. The COVID pandemic. I know obviously they're struggling too, but situation for like for example Inter, AC Milan and stuff, the situation is bad. So actually I'm not much would you say supporting Super League, the format how it came, but generally something has to change in football to bring in the revenue. And the Champions League, I think Inter Milan just got 30 million or something from what the season we got. Where's that compared to 600 million loss? So Gautam, this situation is pretty much Super League is just cutting the middleman out. I'm also surprised actually when seeing this UEFA president talk about, it's all about greediness, and the big clubs are so greedy about money and just they think about money, money all the way. Funny thing is, if I ask them like situation in Qatar, every day people are dying building
Hmm.
stadiums. What have they done? And first of all, how did Qatar even get the World Cup rights? So that
Yeah.
again, so it's money involved everywhere. So Gotham, it's not like this something has to change financially, yes, but if this doesn't stop, then I think a lot of teams like Barcelona will be bankrupt one day. Inter Milan, Zhang cannot spend any money. Chinese government must
Correct,
stop
but
spending.
yes,
So
but
a lot
then
of
again,
situation.
like, yeah, but this is brought on by the clubs, right? Like, your transfer fees have been inflated so much, like, the player salaries have inflated so much. Like, no one asked Barcelona to pay X sum, like, whatever millions it was for Neymar or the salaries that Messi is on and stuff like that. So, when you're, it like you said, Atlanta are self-sufficient. They might be going under loss, but negligible loss comparatively to Barcelona, Madrid, maybe Inter and Milan as well. But this is brought on by the clubs on themselves. They inflated the transfer market. So I think like you just can't say like, okay, we are spending so much. I mean, it's not like they are having that revenue. They are in debt, like you said. Like Barca is almost a billion in debt. So just
Yeah.
to like get out of it, they can't have a closed. I call it a private league. It is a private league, and like we have seen that, like being from India, we have seen what happens when a closed league happens. Like Indian Super League is a closed league, and I have seen smaller clubs from northeast of India which shut shop because ISL you have to pay 15 crores. I don't know what it's like 3 million or 4 million USD to enter the tournament, like to participate, and that's hell lot of money for. And smaller clubs couldn't like be part of it, and they created franchise. And like I was watching AFTV today morning, and Robbie from that made a good point, saying that now you see so many NFL matches happening in UK. So this private league is like the owners of these clubs. It's their private tournament. So tomorrow you might see Manchester Derby in Miami or something like that because it's their own private league. They don't care about the fans, and it's a close thing. Like I don't mind. these guys taking the power away from UEFA. Like you said, like UEFA, FIFA are all corrupt. So I don't mind like these guys taking the power away from them, but to have a closed system where teams like Atlanta can't get in, teams like Leicester can't
Right.
get in, teams like West Ham can't get in.
So the thing, Gautam, the situation is right now because of this COVID pandemic, situation is very bad for a lot of these big clubs. Okay, the Premier League teams might be like in positive, but generally Juventus and huge loss, Inter Milan huge loss. You see Zhang even struggling to pay salaries. So in this way, if it continues, what I don't think like Inter's going to be like what do you say anymore super powerhouse because you know what Inter's going to be dead with financial fair play coming in picture. You can only spend what you earn, but if there's no revenue coming in, how is the club going to sustain? So financial side of things like the Super League, I think whichever club agrees to join the Super League, they get straight away 350 to 400
Yeah.
million, which is okay, quite astronomical and which is much required in this pandemic situation. Okay, if the pandemic didn't happen and things are back to normal, then yes, okay, the Super League would be in a situation. But again, it's like I said, I'm not 100% like for it, but like let's we get more news and more clarity of it. And I think the Champions League new reforms have come in. I don't think much
Yeah.
again financially how it's going to impact. So the
Hmm.
TV rights or something has to improve. And we always talk about TV rights in Syria being the lowest. Italian
Yeah.
league has the lowest value of among the top big five. You check England first, I think Germany second, France third, uh, Italy's fourth or fifth. Situation is bad in that way. So how do we get the revenue? How do you get to pay salaries? At least the basic functioning of the club to run. It's
Yeah.
that's in question right now.
Correct, but that has to be dealt by the clubs with the Italian FA and tell them like market the league. Like, I mean, I
Yes,
totally
that
understand these guys going after revenue, but they brought it on themselves.
no,
And
but if you check Inter Milan, Juventus, and AC Milan, all three said we want to continue playing in the Italian league. We don't want to leave the Italian league. Only the Champions League will be replaced with the Super League. But yet again, like you said, Gotham, it's still a lot of gray area. Nobody knows clearly what exactly is happening. But something has to change drastically for all these big clubs to survive. That's what I feel.
yeah, I mean, if we start on this topic, I think this should be a special episode by itself. This should be a
Right.
special podcast once we have Parmeshwar back from his exams and
Yes.
stuff. So now the weekend, like we knew, I mean, we were predicting a draw. I mean, you were hopeful Inter win, but you knew realistically it might be a draw. I went for a draw, either 1-1 or 2-2. But looking at the match, end of the day, we should have won. Like it was a day where initially nothing was going in, and bad luck, an own goal from De Vrij, Handanovic, whoever it is, like an own goal is an own goal. They didn't score, and then Ericsson with a I don't know, amazing left foot shot, and that was brilliant. But going by it, like when you saw the match, yes, we should have won at least 4-1. Like initial Darmian chance, I don't know what he was thinking. Like when you're open, when you're put in that place, like it's very rare against Napoli you get such open space in the back, and instead of shooting, yes, it's your weak foot. Even Ericsson shot from his weak foot. We knew how that ended. So Darmian should have shot, and Hakimi in the end as well. Like frustrating. Like I don't know. Half the time he plays well, half the time he doesn't. Lukaku twice hit the post. So, like, what do you make of it? Like, do you think we should have won, or do you think 1-1 was a fair result?
If you check, Gautam, what it is, Inter have just lost once on the travel. So Inter has been performing really well away games. And this game again in Maradona, everyone criticized Inter last time when we played Napoli. Everyone said Inter was too defensive, in spite Napoli had the red card. I think this time, although we had less possession, we outplayed Napoli. I could say that because the amount of chances we had, Napoli hardly had a proper sniff at goal. But yes, I think the possession Napoli had 57 to Inter's 43, and Napoli had over I think 12 shots on target, 12 shots, which only one on target, as compared to Inter 10 shots, two on target. But saying that Inter had much more chances, like you said. Uh, First of all, I think Ruiz just gave a team effort in the first half on goal straight to Handanovic. Other than that, I don't think much attack they had. Darmian, like you said, that was a clear-cut opportunity. And this guy had acres of space around him. That's the difference when we have Perisic, when you have an attacking player in that position.
True. Yeah.
Perisic would 100% gone for a shot. And that was clearly a 1-0 if you check, because he was acres of space. And he squared the ball, and surprisingly from all, Insigne cleared it. So that was a very clear cut chance. And then I think Eriksen's corner, which went a couple of Rikishi here and there. Then we went to Brozovic. Brozovic gave again a shot which Lukaku deflected on the post. Then again, any other day would have been a goal because it was quite close range. Although Lukaku didn't have much idea, but the technique he used to
Yeah.
deflect it towards the goal, that is commendable. And that hit the post. And then comes the big day of the error, which Insigne gave again a cross. Handanovic bounced it in front of De Vrij. So it's like you said, it's whose fault we don't know. But if you ask me, I would say again it's a Handanovic fault because a goalkeeper normally commands that area. He knows exactly. His eyes on the ball. De Vrij pretty much is trying to block the defender behind him, trying to stop the cross. So, but yeah, again, it's 50-50 if you ask me. But the stupid, bizarre own goal. So that came in. And that, which other chance?
Hakimi at the
Lautaro
end.
for me. Yes, yes. And other than the Lautaro's, I think a lot of times he twists and turn unpredictably. That this guy is, I think he played really good. And he released Barella 1-on-1 chance, which Barella, I think his first touch again let him down. So I think a couple of players' first touch need to improve a lot.
Oh yeah, totally
Eriksen,
forgotten
amazing goal.
about Barella's chance. Yeah, that was a good pass from
Yeah,
Lautaro. Yeah.
Lautaro suddenly he took a 360 and he released Barella on goal. His first touch quite bad and keeper stopped it well. And then Eriksen's equalizer came and what a sweet strike, left-footed.
Yeah.
Hit this right at the bootlaces, perfect shot. And if you check the stats, I think Eriksen comes second. Since 2013, the players who scored outside the box, Messi's first,
Yeah.
obviously. Second comes Eriksen, along with a couple of other players tied up. But Eriksen can take the shots. The only thing he was lacking is confidence. And you saw that once he scored, he tried attempting more shots than required. But that's needed, because, all the time, Brozovic and Barella, they try to curl the shot and give a finesse shot. But sometimes you just had to shoot straight with power. And Eriksen did that and he scored. What a goal. Brilliant goal. And I think Politano had one shot in the near post, which Handanovic clearly beat and hit the post. And you were praising Politano. You said Politano is
Yeah.
one of your favorite guys. He almost scored. And I think last 10 minutes, Hakimi twice on goal. He was released. And again, final ball lacking. Hakimi and Darmian should take the shot when required because you cannot always square. And Manolas is quite slow in pace. And somehow we got last minute tackle. But
I mean,
overall,
Conte
Inter, if you
put
check,
them in. Yeah, Conte has put Darmian and Hakimi in so that it's not every time Lukaku or Lautaro that scores. Like once Hakimi gets a chance, Darmian gets a chance, they have to take the chances and like score.
that's right.
Like and Hakimi that too, it's not like Darmian. I can understand like he didn't have that many chances, but Hakimi match in match out like he's in front of goal, and he should have. I
Right.
think Hakimi also should have been in double digits by now if he was much
Exactly.
more clinical in front.
He has to take because those type chances is not always because Hakimi was the last minute. He tried to square in when nobody was there. Absolutely nobody. He should have taken a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, if there are players waiting in the box, you try to attempt to pass. But when nobody, you can't just blindly pass it in. But saying that, Gautam, Inter played much better. I'm very happy with the performance in Napoli. Although a draw, we've been winning straight, I think 11 straight matches. And draw, I was not as satisfied. I thought we should have taken the game. Okay, it was been another story if Inter was defending and holding back. But Inter went on the offense and so many chances we didn't convert. But still 9 points ahead of AC Milan. It's good. I'm happy.
Yeah, I mean, because of our winning streak, I think draw feels like a loss. But do you think
Exactly.
like this? Do you think this was considered like in our run-in? Like, I think we would have taken draw against Napoli away initially, regardless of our run-in of wins. I think Napoli draw away would have been a fair result. I mean, we would have taken that 1 point even before, right? I mean, it's not a
Yes,
bad result.
definitely. See, away at Maradona, it's always any point taken is a good thing. So I'm happy we got a point
Yeah.
nonetheless. But yeah,
And coming to now, next is Spezia. But do you think like this draw will affect the players, or are they like, okay, fine, a draw is a draw. We have still gained 1 point. We didn't lose 3 points. Do you think they look at it that way? Because Conte was like even saying like, yeah, 1 point and his Napoli is good.
yeah, I think Conti said the same. Ericsson said the same. Like 1 point is good against Napoli. But I'm happy now that that winning cycle had to end someday or the other,
Yeah.
and it's better to lose the winning streak against away at Napoli than losing against Cagliari or Spezia, Torino. So at least that winning cycle ended on a positive. But saying that, I'm sure Intel come recharged for the next game against Spezia.
Okay, so now for the match ratings, like starting with Handanovic, what would you rate him?
Oh, Handanovic, I don't think he had any other chance other than that spilling that. I would give Handanovic 5.5 for this one.
Okay. And Divray, I think I would give, yeah, 5.5 or 6 maybe, because he was also involved in the own goal. I don't know, like your news said, like never know whose fault. So it happened, but he had a good game, but he was partly responsible for the own goal. So I would give him a 5. And Skriniar.
Right. Skriniar, I would give him I think he had a good performance. He kept Insigne more or less quiet. I would give him a 6.5 to Skriniar.
Okay. Bastoni, I would give 6.5 to Bastoni as well, because he was solid, made sure that the defensive line was struck, and yeah, had control of the game, didn't do any rash challenges or didn't lose the ball that many times and all that. So I think it's good. So I'd give him a 6.5 actually. Hakimi.
Hakimi, okay. See, Hakimi, that burst of energy is always required, but he had again a couple of chances the last couple of minutes. I would give him a 6 rating. One, because he's really attacking and he took on a lot of his players. He beat Koulibaly with his pace, he beat Manuel Rui with his pace. Really, final ball was lacking. He should have got a 7 or 7.5, but due to his missing of chance, I would give him a 6 rating.
Okay. And Damian, I would say 5. Yes, I'm a bit harsh on him, but when you have such an open, I mean, I think if he had scored, the complexion of the game would have changed. If he had scored such early goal, I think it would have changed. And his apprehension to not take the goal, I think he has to improve on that. So I would give him a 5. Barella.
Barella, I think for me, he had a quite poor game because this guy, I think in December to January, he was in form of his life. Every tackle he would plunge in, he would pass. And right now, last couple of matches, although he had last week rest, Barella seemed a bit lost again for me. I would give him a 5.5 rating.
Okay. So Brozovic, I would give 5.5 as well. Like his mistake gave the ball to Insigne that led to the goal. And again, this match I saw like few times, as soon as he lost the ball, his hands are in the air, and he's so like he's angry with himself or he's angry with the team or whatever. But showing the frustration like that, like don't show it. Like get on with the job. You still have a job. Just because you lost the ball doesn't mean you lose the man as well. Like go to the man even if you lost the ball. Like don't put your hands up in the air and start crying. Like so, I would give him a 5.5. Then Ericsson.
Ericsson, for me, he had a very good match. Ericsson, I would give him a rating 8. He scored with this weaker foot, left foot, and he can score with both feet.
Hmm.
And what a goal, brilliant goal. Other than that, his set pieces were spot on. We had a couple of chances. And overall, general, he was much better than the other two, Brozovic and Barella. And I like the new Ericsson, puts his head down and starts running and chasing. And he was defending also quite a bit. He had a couple of good clearances. So for me, a rating would be 8.
Okay, and your man of the match as well would be Ericsson.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
same here. So, and Lukaku, I would say 6. His hold up play was really good. I mean, so many times like he just held up the ball. Like even with Koulibaly was defending him, like he was equal in strength to Koulibaly, and not many people can say that. So, and he even
Exactly.
turned him twice, and he got Koulibaly a yellow early on itself. So as expected, that was my plan. Like I was telling, like Koulibaly should get an early yellow, and Lukaku made that happen. But yeah, his header play was good, but two chances, like you said, like any other day it would have gone in. This time it didn't go in and stuff. But yeah, I would give him a 6. Fair play, like did his best. Could have had 2 goals, ended up with 0, so doesn't matter. Still a good performance. Lautaro.
Lautaro, although didn't score, I think off the ball he was really good. He had a couple of his off the ball is really good. And once he get the ball, so he's very unpredictable. And the best part of Lautaro I like is suddenly he gives a turn and release Hakimi, a long range pass to Hakimi on the right, which nobody else can spot. I would give a rating of 7.5 to Lautaro. And
Okay.
he gave a couple of brilliant assists to Barilla and stuff who should have buried it. And his closing down spot on. This guy is really good off the ball too.
Okay. Now for the substitutes, Perisic, we know he has just come back into the team. So
Nothing much
yeah, I would
noticeable,
give,
yeah.
yeah, I would give him a 5 because he was there solid. But yeah, I'm harsh five. But yeah, everyone knows he just came back from India. He's easing into the
Yeah.
team. But as long as he's fit, then it's good. Next is Gallardini.
Cagliari, I don't think much he
Or
did, and that
Sanchez.
substitution was
Yeah.
Sanchez. And yeah, Sanchez again. I
Hmm.
think that last pass he released Hakimi. He's the only one who can do the lofted passes,
Yeah.
and Hakimi should have taken more of that. I would give him a standard 6 to Sanchez.
Yeah. Gallardini came at the end, so doesn't matter. Like,
The substitutes didn't make impact much in this game.
yeah. Like, how much would you rate Conte though? His game plan, his ideas for the team.
Conti, I would give a rating of 7.
Okay.
Inter, although were defensive, but we had so many chances, and I wouldn't blame him. Like the players don't take chances, but the attitude was right, and we fought till the last minute. So that is something I give credits to Conti.
Yeah. I mean, Conte had his game plan almost right. I mean, unlucky he couldn't score more, but yeah, we were attacking. We were the superior team at the end of the day. So yeah, I would give him a 7 as well. So that was our preview for review of Napoli, and now again Spezia, our next game. And Spezia coming from a loss now, but we are coming back from a draw. They are what right now? They are in 14th place. So
14th place, yes.
14th place. And do you think like what do you think like would it be easy? Do you think so soon after Napoli would it have a mental effect on the players, or do you think like yeah they can take it as a new game, fresh start, and get the 3 points?
See, Spezia again. If you check the reverse fixture, it was 2-1, and they hit on late. I think Hakimi scored first. Lukaku had a penalty, and later on, the substitute Piccoli scored a stoppage time. So yeah, this time matches you never know. It's never going to be easy. And Spezia with Vincenzo Italiano, the coach, I think Spezia's first ever Serie A season it is, and they have surprisingly 14th place. Everybody thought they'll be in relegation places, but again they performed quite mixed performances here and there. And 14 days is commendable for them to be in. But their defense is quite bad. 59 goals conceded. That's
Yeah.
like one of the fourth worst. So the defense is quite shaky. The main striker is Enzola. That's the main guy. That guy started off with a bang. I think the first 13 matches he scored, I think 9 goals in the first
Hmm.
13 matches. And then I think for last 8, he had an injury. He came back, and the last 8 matches he scored 0. So that is the main downfall. Other than that, I think the other two strikers, Daniel Everdy and Piccoli, these two are like 2 goals in 3 matches and 3 goals in 6 matches. So
Yeah.
generally, their strike force is quite commendable. Not that great, but okay. And they play with the 4-3-3 formation. And last match, they got hammered by Bologna 4-1.
Hmm.
And more or less, the results have been like up and down, like a seesaw type. They have been, if you check the last few results, they lost to Bologna, they won against Crotone. Again, they
Yeah.
lost with Lazio, but they won against Cagliari. So it's been, they lost all the big matches. I think Atlanta, they lost with Juventus, they lost. So, but again, the smaller teams, surprisingly, they've been performing well. And yes, we have our main young player playing for them, Agume. He started well. I think 11 games he played
Hmm.
overall the season, but now I think pretty much he's on the bench. I'm not sure why he's not playing that well as required. But yeah, overall, Spezia again for me is going to be tough, and the stadium also, Alberto Pico. It's quite challenging for teams to go there and get a result. But other than that, it's going to be tricky for me if you ask me.
Okay, and the Conte has hinted that Lautaro will be benched again and benched or rested, and Sanchez would start. Like, what do you make of it? Like, we have seen when Sanchez starts, it doesn't have that much of an impact, and usually after 60 minutes, he puts back Lautaro in again. Like, do you feel like this is the kind of match which Sanchez should start instead of against Napoli or something like that? Like, give him a run in here, or do you think like no, like use him as a super sub itself at all matches?
I would say, if you ask my personal opinion, I would say stick to a strongest 11 and Sanchez to come off the bench. But I can understand Conte's point too, because if you see Lautaro, all the matches, he runs his socks off up
Yeah,
to the 60th minute. I think they have an understanding, the coach and Lautaro, and they see you have 60 minutes, close down all the spaces, run and completely exhaust yourself, no problem. Last 30 minutes, we'll put a fresh Sanchez. So in the Napoli match, this guy was closing down really well, Lautaro, and he had the ball. He was quite unpredictable. But like I said, personally, if you ask me, I would prefer Lautaro and Lukaku because their understanding is just too good.
yeah,
Sanchez, whenever he started, he's always disappointed. And like we always discuss, Sanchez has lost his goal threat. He cannot score anymore. He can assist, yes. He can play as a trequarista. That's his best position, if you ask me.
Yeah, and now we are like single digit lead. Yes, 9 point lead, but I mean, when you had 11 point lead, the cushion was there. Like mentally, you're like double digits ahead. Now it's 9, and Milan play before us. Like, do you think like players will feel any if Milan win their game? Do you think the players would feel any pressure, or they are now mentally strong enough? A contest trained them enough to not worry about Milan results at all.
No, Gautam, irrespective of Milan's result, Inter has to win 4 matches out of the remaining 7. So that the players have in their head. And this is one of the easier games. Although, no disrespect to Spezia, Spezia has been quite unpredictable. But this is a game which Inter has to win because we have again tougher matches coming up. So this match, I think Inter should take it with their stride. And like I said, Inter's away form has been good. Just one loss, unexpected loss at the Marassi against Sampdoria. But overall, Inter's away form has been good. And if you check Conti also against the Napoli match, we didn't play for the point. We played for the win. And in spite of having a 1-1 draw, which was quite decent, Inter still went ahead with the win. So I'm expecting Conti to charge the players up, troops up. You know what? We dropped 2 points, and now we have to go for the win. And yes, I think everybody will have a point to prove because again, we've been winning all this while, and suddenly, like a speed breaker, we drop
Yeah.
points, and Inter will try their best
I mean,
to get back into winning ways.
yeah, I mean, you said the right words, like trying to charge up the player, charge up his troops. But do you like? I kind of feel like, what if we, like you said, this is an easy fixture. What if we try too hard? Like sometimes you try too hard, like things are not going your way, and you want to try too hard, things are not going. You try over and over, instead of doing simple things right, you try to do so much complicated stuff, put pressure on yourself because you know that this fixture is what you need to get 3 points out of. Against Napoli with 1 point, you know it was a tough fixture, so 1 point is fine. And you're motivated against Napoli. You know they're a big team, you know they are a threat. Now, if we enter this game thinking, yeah, we have to get 3 points because we need this win, and this is one of the easy fixtures, we need this win, and then you put more pressure on yourself, and that time things might go wrong. Do you think the mentality has changed this season, wherein like Conte has drilled it into these, okay, no extra pressure, let's do our stuff, we'll get the 3 points. Because if things don't go well in the first, let's say 25, 30 minutes, and Spezia might be attacking, which I don't see, but let's say they are more possession and we are losing the midfield battle. Do you feel the pressure would then come on Brozovic, Barella to do more, to be more creative?
Yes, one thing, Gotham, is like you said, this season the mentality has changed. Although Inter doesn't have much of the possession, like you said, against Napoli and stuff, but we had some. We are creating chances magically. Don't ask me how, but we are creating chances. And this Inter has been really unpredictable. Hakimi on the right is a threat. Perisic on the left is a threat. Lautaro is a threat. Lukaku is a threat. Eriksen is a threat now. So now it's like the opposition is confused. We play like completely. It was before, pretty much Candrea would cross right side blindly and
Yeah,
we just hope and pray Icardi scores. But now pretty much we are playing around. Everybody's performing well. So that is one thing impressed me this season is that we are creating a lot of chances. Irrespective of the possession we are creating. That's a good thing. But now against Spezia, like you said, these teams tend to sit back deep and defend with 10 men behind the ball. Those type matches are tricky for us. Okay, against Napoli, we play to our strengths. That's counter attack. But now, this time matches, we will have most of possession, and counter attack won't be an option. But now it's where you said the midfield has to step up. Barella, Brozovic, Eriksson to find spaces and quick one-touch passing. And this is, like you said, it'll be quite tricky. But if we can get an early goal, everything will be much easier this type of matches. You should not wait till the second half and late after the 70th minute because, they might just have one odd chance and score. And like
yeah.
the lucky goal we conceded. So it's always we need the plus 2 goals cushion at always because we cannot afford to drop points.
Correct. Like, and if we score early, then they have to come out. They can't just sit back because they
Exactly.
also need the
Exactly. Then
result.
again,
So,
we can play with our strength hit on the counter. And yes,
yeah.
that's the
And
thing.
also one other thing, like, do you feel Lukaku should have been rested this game because he has been playing in and out and he gives his all as well. Do you think Lukaku needs a rest in the running, or is it just 7 more matches, just play him in all matches?
No, like Gotham, it's 7 finals. In a final, would you rest your best players? No, right?
Yeah,
So for me and Conti, Lukaku is the vital piece of attack. Okay, no matter are you talking about Hakimi, Perisic, Lautaro, these players can swap positions. But for Conti's plan, Lukaku is the only one who can hold up the ball. And the matches which Lukaku did not play, I think we dropped points or we struggled a lot.
yeah,
So Lukaku is a vital piece. And I think Conti has cut him some slack, saying that, Lukaku, you don't have to close down opposition. You can just hold your ground, you preserve your energy. Whereas Lautaro, if you see, runs his socks off. So although both are two center forwards, but you can see the difference in that. So Conti has clearly instructed Lukaku, keep the energy which is required. When you get the ball, you run blast against the opposing goal. But other than that, just hold your ground, hold the energy. So Lukaku, pretty much whenever he played all 90 minutes. I never seen him subbed off in the 60th or 70th minute because Lukaku is that important. He's the main, and the team is built around Lukaku. We are a team building our formations, everything based on Lukaku holding up the ball. You see, the moment Lukaku holds up the ball, Hakimi runs the side, Barella
yeah.
runs that side, Lautaro. So the whole he starts off the attack. So Lukaku is for me the most important piece, and he has to play for the next 7 matches.
Okay, and yes, we will be getting into the predicted 11 soon, but just for the left wing, who would you start? Would it be Young, Perisic, or Darmian again?
I would start Perisic for this match. I think Perisic is up and running.
Hmm.
And to start matches, we need attacking players to come on. And we should not wait up to the last 15 or 20 odd minutes. I think we should play with the starting 11. And then if you are 2-0 up or something, then we can rest Perisic. But for me, I definitely put Perisic in the left wing.
Okay, so now let's get to the predicted 11. What do you think would be Conte's predicted 11 for Inter?
So pretty much standard 3-5-2 formation with Handanovic, although we had no other option there. Handanovic, a Capitano on goal, Skriniar, De Vrij, Bastoni, Hakimi, Barella, Brozo, Eriksson, and Perisic on the left. And I personally would start Lautaro and Lukaku, and later on, maybe 60th minute, bring on Sanchez. That would be my preferred formation for this.
Okay, so I am guessing Gallardini might start this game, and I don't know who he might rest. It might be Eriksson, it might be Barella, it might be Brozovic. Okay, might not be Brozovic, but I think either Barella or Eriksson might be rested this game, and Gallardini might start. I mean, that's my hunch. I'm not sure, but I feel like Conte will go like give Gallardini some minutes now, and I think yeah, Eriksson. I think Eriksson will play because he's in good form and
He
he scored the
scored.
goal
Yeah, he's in
earlier.
good form. Yeah, he's on
Yeah,
fire now. You would not want to cool down that fire. Yeah, so
exactly. Yeah.
he.
So I think Barella might see the bench this game and Gallardini might start ahead of him. But apart from that, yeah, I agree with your starting 11. And now for the score prediction, what do you think would be the score line?
See, like again, I said, Inter pl- plays best when they play counter-attacking football, and this game is pretty much Inter's going to have more possession, and it's going to be tricky because they play with the 4-3-3, but they have Gyasi on the wings and Farias in the wings, so they pretty much come back, and so Inter won't have much of these spaces, but if they lose the ball, they're going to attack on the wings. So I'm predicting a very close match. I'm predicting a 2-1 win for Inter. And also Spezia is shaken from the last big defeat against Bologna 4-1. So they would be underconfident, and Inter's one of the most fearsome attacks. So I expect if Inter scores an early goal in the first 30 minutes, Inter can go for a big score line. If not, it's going to be a very close match, 2-1 win to Inter.
Okay, so I was going to say 6-1, but I won't do it now because but I am thinking like it's again going to be 4-1 for 4-1 loss for Spezia. I think Lukaku will score a brace. Hakimi might score. I think Hakimi 2 goals from Lukaku and 1 goal from Lautaro. So 4-1 is my prediction for the game.
That's a bold prediction. Let's hope it's true. Yeah.
And I always give this high score lines and at the end it will just be 1-0.
Yeah, I also want to ask you one question. What do you think this Super League coming up? Do you think the Inter players mentally will be thinking about it, like Lukaku thinking, "Oh, if I play in the Super League, I cannot play for the national team. I cannot play for the Euro, so I can't play for the World Cup," and because that will affect the performance again this match. Do you think so, or you
No,
think
no,
no,
no.
the players know about it?
I don't think the players would even bother about Super League now because it, we are close to a title after like 11 years. So I think that's their main focus. I think everything else is secondary for them. I think they don't even care if they play for the national team right now. For them, the first objective is the Scudetto. And
Right.
it's not the players' fault. Like you cannot blame associations. Like you cannot ban players. Associations can't ban players who are playing for clubs that decided to play in the Super League. Like the players weren't spoken to at all. They weren't asked, "Are you interested in playing?" Because these are the risks. Like you might not be able to play for the national team. If we go in, would you continue playing for us? Nothing was asked to them. Like the board decided, Jang decided, like all the owners decided, like yeah, we'll have a small little private playground and we'll play with our team. Like the players are not at all at fault. So I don't think the players would even think about it. I think Conte
Right.
also, they might ask players about their views, as usual, like all the players have been asked, but I don't think like it would affect them. I don't think the
Okay,
performance would
Gautam.
be
Another
affected.
tricky question, I think, before we round it up, I want to know is if Inter wasn't included of the Super League, would
Hmm.
you feel bad like Inter's not part of the elite group, or how is that?
Uh, okay, that is a tricky question, but yeah, I think if Inter were not asked, I would have felt bad. Like, dude, we are
Yeah,
the top club. Like, if they asked Roma instead of Inter, I would be like, dude, we are the top guys. Or if they asked Napoli instead of Inter,
exactly.
like, dude, look at our history. We're the only treble winning team from the country.
Right.
So we should be top. So yes, I would feel bad, but I would have preferred if they asked and we said no. Because
Mm,
that's, but then again, you're given your views, like it's end of the day, it's business. And Zhang has to
it's
see
business.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, how they'll get in money. But fans are also important. Like we are brothers of the world. Our motto is brothers of the world. From
Right.
there, it went to not for everyone. I think not for everyone has become more now. Like when you go into European Super League, it's not for everyone.
All right. It's more app now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good,
now
good.
it's
I think
become
we
more
should
apt.
discuss more about the Super League once we have permission. So we'll have a
Yeah,
proper
I think
episode.
we'll have a special
I think,
podcast just for that thing.
yeah, and they should, I think the viewers should comment on the page and say if you like to hear their views, support it or against it. Be cool.
Yeah, right. So there you have it, folks. That was another episode of Solo Inter podcast. Do let us know in the comments, what do you think of the European Super League? Should we go in? Should we not go in? What are your views? And do let us know what would be our predicted scoreline against Spezia. What would be the starting lineup? And we are on other audio platforms as well. We are on Spotify, we are on Apple Podcasts, we are on Google Podcasts. All the links will be given in the description. Please do like and subscribe and see you soon. Forza Inter.
Forza Inter.